Good morning and welcome to our celebration of Sri Rama's birthday. The program will be some Vedic chanting by the Sri Sarada Nuns, and that'll be followed by a talk and PowerPoint presentation by Devina, Nayyar. That in turn will be followed by a talk and PowerPoint presentation by Pravrajika, Gayatriprana, and then you're all invited to stay back and get a share of the sweets and savories. So now I invite the nuns to come and do their chanting.
It's not Vedic chant. This is a hymn from Shankaracharya to Sri Rama, Sri Ramashtakam. Bhaje Vishesha Sundaram Samasta Papa Khandanam Swabhakta Chittaranjanam Sadaiva Rama Madvayam Jata Kalapa Shobhitam Samasta Papanashakam Swabhakta Bhiti Bhanjanam Bhaje Harama Madvayam Nijaswarupa Bodhakam Kripakaram Bhavapaham Shamam Shivam Niranjanam Bhaje Harama Madvayam Sada Prapancha Kalpitam Hyanamarupa Vastavam Nirakritim Niramayam Bhaje Harama Madvayam Prapanchahina Nirmalam Vikalpaham Niramayam Chidekarupa Santatam Bhaje Harama Madvayam Bhavabdhipotarupakam Hyashesha Deha Kalpitam Gunakaram Kripakaram Bhaje Harama Madvayam Maharshi Vakya Bodhakai Virajamana Vakpadai Saroja Janma Sevitam Bhaje Harama Madvayam Shiva Pradam Sukha Pradam Bhavachidam Brahmapaham Virajamana Daishikam Bhaje Harama Madvayam Maharshi Vakya Bodhakai Virajamana Vakpadai Saroja Janma Sevitam Bhaje Harama Madvayam Shiva Pradam Sukha Pradam Bhavachidam Brahmapaham Virajamana Daishikam Bhaje Harama Madvayam Virajamana Daishikam Bhaje Harama Madvayam.
Devina, do you need the PowerPoint straight away, or you're making some introductory comments before that? Yeah.
Just picture of Sri Rama. Just click on it. Jai Shri Ram. With humble pranams at the feet of my Guru, Pravrajika, Gayatriprana Mataji, and my pranams to Pravrajika, Gayatriprana Mataji, and everybody present here. I'd like to begin by invoking the blessings of I'd like to begin by invoking blessings of Bajrangbali, for we know he's always present at the Ram Katha, any Ram Katha. And by reciting these beautiful verses from Sri Ramcharitmanas that depicts Sri Ram's endearing qualities and his appearance. Bhai Pragat Kripala Deen Dayala Kaushalya Hitkari Harishit Mahatari Muni Manhari Adbhut Roop Vichari Lochan Abhirama Tanu Ghan Shama Nij Ayudh Bujhari Lochan Abhirama Bhushan Banmala Nayan Bisala Shobha Sindhu Kharari. And this translates as Shri Ram, source of eternal joy, the kind, merciful, compassionate son of Ma Kaushalya, takes our hearts away with his endearing form and his endearing smile, his dark complexion, delightful big eyes, neck adorned with a garland of forest flowers, makes him seem like an ocean of beauty as he holds his weapon, his bow and arrow to slay evil as a fearless warrior. Thank you once again, Gayatriprana Mataji, for bestowing me with this honor to talk about Sri Ram and our recent visit to Ayodhya. And in my endeavor to string together some cherished memories of our pilgrimage and what drew us to Ayodhya, I would also like to share some historical facts in relation to Ram Lala's homecoming in the Kali Yuga to Sri Ram Janmabhoomi and the grand ceremony that took place in January, along with pictures and a video of the beautiful Ram Mandir when we visited. And I shall feel blessed if my emotions and devotions touched your hearts as we gather here to celebrate Ram Navami, the divine celebration of Sri Ram's birth. Sri Ram is the seventh incarnation of Vishnu, was born to the King Dashrath and Ma Kaushalya in Ayodhya in the Treta Yuga. Purpose of his birth: to slay evil, to protect and restore dharma. As a Maryada Purushottam, we know Sri Ram epitomized truth and morality, humility and compassion, love and sacrifice. He was a skilled archer, a fearless warrior, and his life as an ideal son, an ideal brother, a husband, and above all, an ideal leader makes him the unifying force that guides humanity towards a perfect and harmonious world. And if there's one role model we want to emulate, it is Sri Ram. In a world where moral compass can waver, we draw inspiration from Sri Ram's unwavering commitment to dharma for a meaningful and purposeful existence. And his reign in Ayodhya, a symbol of perfect harmony and perfect justice. We grew up learning about Sri Ram's glory, reading about his glory, his life, drawing inspiration, but we also grew up learning about how history stands witness to the desecration of temples during the 16th centuries when Mughal invasion began. And that included the birthplace of Sri Ram, and there was a mosque built over it. A 500-year-old struggle That's Shri Ram. A 500-year-old struggle that saw generations pass in hope, countless sacrifices made, a period that encompassed legal battles, improving ownership through scientific and archaeological evidence to liberate Ram Janmabhoomi. And in all of this, I'm not sure how many of us know about the Suryavanshi Thakurs of Ayodhya, who lost 90,000 of their ancestors in about 30 battles against the Mughal invader Babur. And they vowed not to wear turbans, leather footwear, or use umbrellas. It's just a mark of respect because Sri Ram's chhatra was gone because he was in a tent for so many years till the justice was awarded. It is therefore very hard to describe what it would have meant to witness, how emotional to see the homecoming of Lord Ram after a 500-year-long wait. Once Supreme Court passed verdict in favor of Ram Lala, based on a clinching evidence. There were many evidences, over 400 of them. And one of the most clinching evidence was what got unearthed as Vishnu Hari inscription, in a 12th century Vishnu Hari inscription that clearly states in Sanskrit, Vishnu, the slayer of Bali and the 10-headed one. So Supreme Court, that was it. It mandated the construction of Ram Temple in Ayodhya, which was followed by Bhumi Pujan by PM Modi in August 2020. That's the Bhumi Pujan. And our generation is very lucky, very fortunate and blessed to have witnessed the Pran Pratishtha ceremony that took place on the 22nd January this year, and the grand opening of Shri Ram Mandir by PM Modi. Live streaming of the entire event was surreal. Tears of joy rolled down at the vision of the 5-year-old Ram Lala. And the goosebumps as we saw his expression, his face, and his eyes of the infant Bhagwan changed to that of a mature king as soon as he was taken into the sanctum sanctorum of the temple. The sculptor who made this divine murti devoted 7 months in carving and chiseling the Ram Shila and created this divine 71-inch idol that portrayed a childlike innocence. And he was amazed to see the transition into a living deity. Celebrations and festivities have continued. I could not resist the transition. I still get goosebumps when I look at these pictures. So celebrations and festivities have taken over India ever since. Transformation of Ayodhya, site of the magnificent Ram temple, coupled with euphoria amongst devotees and longing to seek darshan and blessings of Shri Ram Lala, inspired us for this pilgrimage. I mean, in Ayodhya, everybody calls him Ram Lala. Nobody says Ram, come and, Ram ke darshan. They all call him Ram Lala. It's like the closeness they have to the infant Ram. So the transformation, and to think how over 500 million devotees have made it to the holy city within the 3 months. Over 50 crores, which translates as 500 million devotees have already made it to the holy city. And over 200,000 devotees queue up for darshan every day. And I must say, it was Sudish's commitment to make this dream a reality. His resounding faith and above all, divine blessings, which made this trip so fulfilling and memorable. A 90-minute flight from Delhi amidst Jai Shri Ram chants, in the plane, outside the plane, at the airport. Brought us brought us to Ayodhya. And we had to pinch ourselves to think we are really here. And these are the pictures that are shared of the Valmiki International Airports, the stunning interiors, architecture that leaves us spellbound. And then the next stop, our hearts couldn't contain to so overcome with emotions to think we are here. Our two-day trip began by offering our prayers at Ayodhya's sacred river, Saryu, in the evening, and witnessing evening aarti at Ram Ki Pedi, one of the famous ghats on the banks of Saryu. And it was such a sublime setting, illuminated temples in the backdrop, sun setting with thousands present. We witnessed the mesmerizing aarti. And these are some of the pictures. And tears and all, like whilst listening, whilst looking at the ceremony, while taking it all in, I could not stop the tears that flowed to think this is where Sri Ram would have left Ayodhya with Ma Sita and Lakshman, and how Kevat, the boatman, would have taken them across. And then the same Saryu is witnessed their return. So it was a very emotional moment. And then after that, and there were thousands present, but it didn't seem, nobody was pushing. It was like a flow. It was like everybody was immersed in that devotion and they were just flowing along. And when that flow, we came to Lata Chowk, Lata Smriti Chowk, which marks the intersection of the Rampath and Dharampath, where devotees converge before proceeding to Rampath, that's the point where there's a barricade and we proceed before proceeding towards the temple. And this Smriti Chowk is dedicated to our legendary singer Lata Mangeshkar. An iconic roundabout also houses a magnificent veena carved out of single piece of sandstone, and a great spot for selfies too. And then we joined thousands of other devotees on Rampath, a 2-kilometer pathway that would first lead us to Hanumangadi and then to Sri Ram Janmabhoomi. And this wide pathway, I don't know, we were so emotionally, at that point, it didn't click that we should take more pictures. But it was amazing how this wide 4-lane pathway adorned with murals, sculptures, ornamental lampposts, modern lighting, vendors selling saffron flags, stalls, and they had shops. There were shops on both sides of the road, the tea stalls, the bangles, the Sri Ram's images. Oh, it was just that, how they say it in Hindi, the entire space was Rammay. It was like nobody. And I'm so happy to share, this is how I'm so glad about this picture because it shows how clean the Rampath is. City was alive with the energy of devotees, all ages, chanting and playing percussion instruments like dhol, manjiras, as they walked enthusiastically towards Ram Mandir. And after that, as we walked, we first stopped at Hanumangadi. It was about 8 p.m. It is believed that Lord Ram chose this place to be Hanumanji's home after returning with Sita and Lakshman from Lanka, and that Bajrang Bali has always lived here to guard Ayodhya. According to Atharved, Shri Ram conferred honor on Hanumanji and said, anybody who seeks my darshan will come to you first. Therefore, it's considered auspicious to visit Hanumangadi to seek his blessings before proceeding to Ram Mandir. We joined thousands of devotees with little kids on their shoulders, enthusiastically walking 76 set of steps, chanting Jai, Jai Hanuman, Har Har Mahadev, and waiting patiently for their turns to climb up as a group for darshan. And it was a Tuesday, mind you, it was like about more than 5,000 devotees, even I was like, wow. But everybody was just that with their bhakti in their hearts, they were just climbing up, waiting for their turns, and nobody broke the order. It was so wonderful, so clean. Everything was like, and it was well manned by the police officials too. And at this point, I'd like to share how I don't know if many of us know that Bajrang Bali is an incarnation of Shiva, and that Sri Ram is the reason for this incarnation of Shiva in Treta Yuga, because he was so enamored by his charm and qualities as an infant Sri Ram that he sought permission of Ma Parvati to leave Kailash and so that he could stay with Ram during his lifetime. And it is also believed it was Shiva's sankalp to stay with Sri Ram to help destroy evil and show the ideal path of devotion to future generations and protecting them during the Kali Yuga. We were treated to divine sighting of Sri Ram. That was the silver idols of Sri Ram, Sita, and Lakshmanji. The idols covered in rose, marigold, lotus garlands. And then it's so difficult to see because there were so many people, and a very small idol of innocent looking Bajrang Bali, also covered in garlands. His big bright eyes, just acknowledging everyone. And that actually left us spellbound. It was like, oh wow, like he was taking note of everybody's being present, sir. So, and then I actually closed my eyes and said, now can we proceed to Ram Janmabhoomi, Bajrang Bali? And then we took his leave to walk to our destination. And as we walked, a grand gateway with pillars carved out of pink sandstone shone from a distance as we approached the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi amidst Jai Shri Ram chants. And we soaked in the ambience and pure vibes. Actually, it seemed as if Ayodhya had traveled back in time to recreate the Treta Yuga in the present age. We marveled every step of the way, admiring beauty and radiance of the temple lit at night. But my single pointed focus was darshan of Ramlala, and we waited patiently for our turn. And majestic sanctum sanctorum left us spellbound. As we entered the sacred space, our heart racing to be then greeted by the welcoming smile on the face of a deity. And tears of joy and gratitude began to roll down as we inched closer for darshan. And what actually impressed us was there's like huge security force deployed to guard this temple and temple complex. Again, the order was impeccable. There were dedicated channels to ensure smooth entry and exit in different queues. We can't, at that stage, we jumped the photos, but at the first darshan that we had, we could not take cameras, phones, everything was locked up. But it was just that bhakti, that devotion that we wanted to seek that darshan. So that's why with racing heart, we saw our deity. Tears of joy and gratitude began to roll down as we inched closer. The idol of Ramlala, which sat in tent for decades, is also placed on a throne along with the tall Ramlala who stands on the pedestal. Adorned with majestic crown, beautiful clothes, ornaments, flowers, Sri Ram seemed to be gazing at us with so much love. And I closed my eyes in reverence, and then to find I was being nudged along by the officers to make way for other devotees. And I was just with gratitude, we walked away. And then because we were there for 2 days, we returned next evening, hoping for a final darshan before flying back. And this is where we met this sub-inspector, Shri Udal Singh, who offered me his chair while I waited for my husband who went to place the phone in the lockers. And then he began to chat and he said, "Oh, you've come all the way from Sydney. In all of this, at the time when the rush is so much and there are hundreds of thousand pilgrims flooding the new temple." And then as we were about to say, we were taking his leave, he said, out of sheer goodness of his heart, he not only offered to play guide, we were treated to a second darshan of Ram Lala as a special guest. And that was another overwhelming experience. I was so taken in by his generosity as we walked towards the temple, wondering if Bajrang Bali heard me the previous evening when I wished I had little more time with Ram Lala. Udalji guided us for our special darshan, chanting Jai Shri Ram, clicking our pictures, taking videos as memories for us to take home. Phones and cameras are not allowed, so every picture taken inside the temple complex is thanks to him. So that my expression was just still like I could not believe my fortune. And that's the video, Robert.
मेरे एक फोटो लेनी
So that was it. He took so many pictures of us. He was like, Jai Shri Ram bolo, Jai Shri Ram bolo. It really felt as if some divine messenger was with us. So I offered my pranams to Ram Lala, whose enchanting smile filled our hearts with devotion and gratitude. And I'd love to share these lines that resonate with how I felt at the time. झुक झुक से हमने पलक बिछाई, तुम्हारी राह पुहारी, तब भाग जगे हैं आज हमारे, आई राज सवारी। हनुमान केसरी मात जानकी, सबके संग विराजो, लो द्वार खुले हैं आज हृदय के, आओ राम विराजो। Emotional, we leave, walking out of the golden doors that surround the sanctum sanctorum. And whilst we were admiring the intricate designs of the pillars, walls, ceiling, I was completely in a different zone, still immersed in that divine experience. At that point, our friend and our guide began to enlighten us with some amazing facts about Sri Ram Temple that I love to share with you. That this architectural grandeur, the splendor that it encompasses, Sri Ram Temple spans up to 2.7 acres. And the actual temple complex is spread over 70 acres, well equipped to host million devotees at any given time. It is earthquake proof, and it is built to last more than 1,000 years. And the core of the temple is used built using the Makrana, white Makrana temple from marble from Rajasthan, and the entrance gates and the imposing figures, the Singh Dwar and the other sculptures, they are carved out of pink sandstone. And very surprising, there's no use of iron or cement. And they've used the ages old, centuries old method of construction. There are grooves and bridges that work as a lock and key system in the stones as they intricately lock the stones. And there are copper clamps that work to fortify the assembly of these stones. Out of the 46 doors, when they're all done, 42 will be plated with 100 kilograms of gold. And right now, 13 golden doors, each one of them 12 feet high and 5 feet wide, have already been installed around the Sanctum Sanctorum. And that's just a drop in the ocean. There was so much that he was telling, but my mind was just immersed in that Ram Lala's divine sight. Then we were treated to another surprise, a huge blessing in form of a darshan of centuries-old Shivling at Kuber Tila. Any of us who goes there has to visit Kuber Tila for the Shiv Mandir, and it is believed it was existing even before Ram Lala's birth, and god of wealth, Kuber, used to worship Shiva at this very spot. And that pilgrimage to Ayodhya ji is incomplete without a visit to Kuber Tila. It's on a small hillock within the temple grounds. Here we were also mesmerized by the beautiful bronze statue of Jatayu, which seemed so real, and it gleamed in the moonlight, the silver. It was just too overpowering and overwhelming. And there was so much to see, but it was past almost 10 o'clock. And we said, we will definitely come back again. And we took his leave. We are believers. We know Almighty can manifest in any form to help us. And for me and my husband, we believe a divine messenger of Sri Ram gave us his time and treated us to this divine sight of Ram Lala and took us for a small tour of the temple complex with such enthusiasm. I mean, with 200 devotees at any given time. And we chose evening because we thought the rush would be a little less, but no. And still to be the chosen one was like very grateful. We return deeply moved by this grace and power of prayer, this pilgrimage to our holy city, which embodies the very soul of our civilization, and Ram Temple that stands as a testament to the devotion and resilience of Sanatanis. And more importantly, Ram Lala's darshan at his birthplace. It's surreal. So we look forward, and I'm sure we all look forward to another celestial celebration on the 17th of April, when sun rays will illuminate Ram Lala's forehead as Surya Tilak on Ram Navami. And this Surya Tilak mechanism is designed by a team of scientists from Central Building Research Institute by way of strategically placing mirrors and lenses within the Sanctum Sanctorum that will channel the sun rays on Ram Lala's forehead at 12 p.m. for 6 minutes. It's not to be missed. And now, with deep reverence and gratitude in my heart, in our hearts, let's pray to Shri Ram for his blessings to guide us on the Dharam Path, to give us the strength to face and overcome any challenges, to stay grounded and true to our values. Jai Shri Ram. Jai Shri Ram.
Thanks, Devina. That was wonderful, taking us to the new temple. And the last thing you were talking about on Sri Ram's birthday, about angling of the sunlight, reminds me the temple for the ashrama in Fiji, the Sri Ramakrishna ashrama. What the architect did there, it's a newish temple. On Sri Ramakrishna's birthday, the sun illuminates Sri Ramakrishna in the shrine. Just reminded me of that. Yeah. So I'll invite Gayatriprana to.
Thank you, Devina, for the wonderful talk. I don't know if and when we'll get an opportunity to go to Ayodhya and see the temple. But anyway, through your eyes, and just we're very grateful that you showed all these things to us. Thank you very much. Apadam apahartaram dataram sarvasampadam Logabhiramam Shriramam Puyo Puyo Namamyaham. My repeated salutations to Sri Rama, who protects the devotees from dangers, bestows prosperity on them, and gives delight to the world at large. Ramayana and Mahabharata are the two great epics. Hindus of Hindus, and in Sanskrit we call them Itihasa. Itihasa means, literally it means, verily did it occur. It happened. So it is not just story, it's not just myth. According to the literal meaning of Itihasa, it happened. Now modern research using archaeology, geography, topography, all confirm the description of places mentioned in the book. Geography and local traditions identify different sites on Rama's travel across India and Sri Lanka. In India, more than 500 sites have been located, identified, and validated as sites connected with events mentioned in the Ramayana, and about 50 places have been identified in Sri Lanka. So that is the location or sites connected with Sri Rama. But what about the dates? How can we say that Rama was actually born? He lived? In both epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, when some important event occurs, they have given the planetary configuration, the constellations, the position of the stars. Now, with the modern scientific technology, we can calculate the time. There is a technique called planetarium software. By feeding a given set of planetary configuration, we could get the date of an event in the past or in the future. Again, by giving a date in the past or future into this planetarium software, we could get the star positions or planetary positions in the future or the past. And this technique is known as archaeoastronomy. Now, archaeology, we dig in the earth and find out. Now, going into time, archaeoastronomy, we can find out. Both Ramayana and Mahabharata give several instances, these planetary and star configurations in the sky on the day certain events happened at that time. And when thus analyzed, Ramayana shows great consistency between the events described astronomically, giving the star configurations, and the lapse of time as mentioned in the text between these different events. For example, by calculating the date of Rama's birth and the time when Rama was sent to the forest, exiled to the forest, according to this, archaeoastronomy, there's a gap of 25 years. So that means Rama was sent to the forest at the age of 25. And we see in the Ramayana, when Ravana came to abduct Sita in the guise of a mendicant, Sita, he just asked, who are you? Why are you here in the forest and all that? And Sita describes how Rama was asked by the king to go to the forest for 14 years. And she says he came to the forest at the age of 25. So the event that according to the planetary configuration, the time difference between the birth and exile is 25 years. And Sita says 25 years, it confirms. So the software and what is given in the book is the same. Just as Devina had the good fortune of going to Ayodhya, I also had a little bit of, not so much as hers, but little bit of good fortune to visit Sri Lanka and some of the places that we hear or read about in the Ramayana. You know, we all know that Sita was taken to Sri Lanka, kidnapped by Ravana, but we don't know much about it. We only know that Sita was kept in the Ashoka Grove, Ashoka Vati. Now, near one of the hill stations, important hill station in Sri Lanka, there's a place called Sita Ilia, with a stream flowing among rocks. And it is said to be the place of Ashoka Vati or Ashoka Grove. Now at present, there's a temple for Ram, Sita, and Lakshmana. Earlier days, formerly there's an ancient idols, small idols of Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, and Hanuman was there. And locals believe that this is the place where this is a stream going there. So Sita is said to have sat near, had her spending time, because she's all alone and being harassed by the demons all the time. So she used to spend a lot of time near the stream. So this is said to be the place where Ravana kept her as a captive. We went there by the time we went, it was late night. We could see the forest, but we could not go into the temple because the temple is being renovated, new construction going on, so it was all locked up. Ramboda and Ravanboda Hills, that's another place. This Ramboda Hills is on the northern side and Ravanboda Hills is on the southern side with a big valley in between. And this is said to be the camps where Rama's army and Ravana's army was stationed. So Ramboda is the place where Rama's army were, and Ravana Bodha is where Ravana's army. And also, it's also said that Ramboda is the place where Hanuman sat in meditation to find out where Sita is. He was searching for Sita. He searched everywhere, Ravana's palace, but couldn't find all around. Then he was almost desperate. He didn't want to go back without finding Sita. Rama has put his trust in Hanuman, believing that Hanuman will be able to find Sita, and he's not able to. So he sat in meditation in this Ramboda, and then suddenly he noticed this Ashoka Grove, which is close by. This Sita, Ili, and Ramboda are not far away. And then he went to the Ashoka Grove and found at last Sita there. Actually, we got opportunity to stay in a guest house in the Ramboda area. And there's a it's a retreat center run by Chinmaya Mission, and we stayed in their guest house, the retreat center. And it is said that there in this Ramboda hill, which is occupied by the army, so nobody can go there, there are some trees, the flowers of which look like a person holding a bow and arrow. It's strange that, but it is, they say that, but nobody can go and see, look at it, because it is under the military control now. Then there is the Kelaniya, which is Vibhishana's palace. At present, it is a Buddhist temple, but behind the temple, on the wall, on the backside wall of the temple, there is a rock-cut sculptured panel depicting the coronation of Vibhishana. After Ravana was killed, Vibhishana didn't want to rule from Ravana's capital. So he chose the place Kelaniya, which is some distance from north of Colombo. And the coronation was done by Lakshmana. Rama didn't do, because he was still in exile, and so he could not enter any town, village, or city. He has to stay in the forest. So he deputed Lakshmana to do the coronation, and you can see Lakshmana doing the coronation for Vibhishana, and with his wife beside him. Even today, local people go there to pray to Vibhishana for the quick and favorable settlement of disputes. And that shows the tradition of treating that place as a place of the palace of a king. Then there is one more place, which is not a very happy one. Diruvumpola. It's close to Sita Ilia. As per local legends, this is the place where Sita entered fire to prove her chastity. You know, in Ramayana story, after Ravana was killed, Sita was brought to Sri Rama, and Sri Rama refused to accept her because she was kept captive by Ravana. So Rama said, I have killed Ravana and restored the honor of my family. Now you can go wherever you want to. I won't accept you. Now for Sita, as far as Sita is concerned, without Rama, there is no life for her. So she chose to enter fire. She asked Lakshmana to light a fire, and she entered the fire. Before that, she said, if my mind haven't strayed away from Rama, may the fire protect me. And of course, the fire protected her. The deity, fire deity, in taking human form, brought her out and presented her to Rama, asking him, I ordered to accept her. She is pure. She is purity itself. How can fire touch her? When Hanuman was burning Lanka, Sita's prayer protected Hanuman. Nothing happened to him. His tail was burning, but nothing happened to him. And that fire, how can fire touch purity itself? But this is a place, they say, where Sita entered the fire to prove her chastity. Diruvumpola in Sinhalese language means place of oath. And there's a platform with an ancient stone with the engraving of half moon. And promises made at this site is still honored by local judiciary. So they accept this as a fact which has happened. Now, in Ramayana, we come across 3 sets of kingdom, 3 sets of brothers. 3 kingdoms and 3 sets of brothers. Let us look at them. The first one I've like to deal with is Kishkinda, the kingdom of the brothers Vali and Sugriva. It is described as a well-designed, beautiful city with palatial buildings and with all the necessities and amenities of leading a very comfortable life. Valmiki describes the people of Kishkinda as Vanaras. Vanaras, usually we translate as monkeys, but actually Vanaras means Vananaras, forest dwellers. People accustomed to live in forests, hilly areas, or banks of rivers. Because the description shows them they are physically very strong. They are expert in wrestling. They didn't use any weapons other than trees and rocks, but they were expert wrestlers. Not just that, they were having the custom of wearing sacred threads. Performing Sandhya rituals was very common among them. And Ramayana speaks of Tara, the wife of Vali, as well conversant with sacred threads and sacred texts and performance of rituals. Now look at Hanuman. Hanuman is a master of scriptures, faultless and elegant in speech, intelligent, shrewd, extremely strong and powerful. As the messenger of Rama, when he went in search of Sita, he just did not accomplish his task of meeting Sita successfully, but also managed to meet Ravana. Meet Ravana and get a layout of the city, the strength of the enemy's army, all that he did. So, how intelligent, how far, with great foresight he did that. And we refer them as monkeys. Is there any comparison with monkeys? Again, when Rama wanted to reach the ocean on the southern tip of India, he had to cross the sea there. Hanuman jumped, but Rama needs a bridge, a pathway. And who is going to build a bridge? You need an engineer. Yes, there came up an engineer by name Nala, one of Sugriva's ministers. He was an expert engineer and directed the bridge construction. And later when Rama was coming back from from Lanka with Sita in the Pushpaga plain, he showed the bridge and called it Nala Setu because Nala constructed this. Even now we can see that from after all these years, see, from air we can see after say more than 7,000 years, it's still there. That shows the expertise of Nala, how expert engineer he was. And the book says the length of the bridge by its breadth is of the ratio of 100 to 10. Now today, if you measure the bridge, it is 35 kilometer in length and 3.5 kilometer in breadth. Exactly 100 to 10 ratio. What is described in Ramayana, the same ratio. And the shortest distance between India and Sri Lanka, from Dhanushkodi to Talaimannar, that's the shortest distance we have. And that also they measured. And still we call them monkeys. What an engineering marvel it is, this bridge. Now look at the king Vali, the king of Kishkinda. He was extremely strong. He even defeated Ravana in battle. Though he and Sugriva, his younger brother, lived together in peace and harmony with brotherly love and affection, an unfortunate incident caused misunderstanding. And Vali chased Sugriva out from his kingdom, forcibly took his wife, which is a sin equivalent to incest. This caused the downfall of Vali. He had to pay for that with his life. Sugriva was also intelligent, strong, great warrior, but addicted to lower pleasures like drinking and sex. However, contact with Rama brought a great change, and he became a great asset on in the Rama's side when Rama was fighting with Ravana. And he helped Rama to find out best in his search for Sita. When Hanuman brought them together, they took the pledge. Rama took the pledge that he will kill Vali and restored the kingdom to Sugriva. And Sugriva took the pledge that he will search for Sita and help Rama to recover her. After all the destruction of Ravana, and when they returned to Ayodhya after 14 years, Rama introduced Sugriva to Bharata as our fifth brother. There were 4 brothers, Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrugna. Now Rama is introducing Sugriva as the 5th brother. That shows in what great esteem Rama held Sugriva. Sugriva was eager to defeat and kill Vali and become the ruler and enjoy the pleasures, which he did to great extent, forgetting his promise to Rama to search for Sita. But then Hanuman had to pull him up, and also Lakshmana came threatening him. So immediately he mended his ways, sent for people to search for Sita, and successful. Now look at Lanka. Lanka under Ravana was rich and prosperous, a huge city with huge palatial buildings and palaces. And Ravana had many aeroplanes. We hear only about one aeroplane in which he took Sita, abducted Sita, called Pushpaka Vimana, because it had the shape of a flower. But it says that Ravana had many aeroplanes and many airports throughout the kingdom. It's nothing strange because there is a text in Sanskrit by sage Bharadwaja called Vaimanika Shastra, aeronautics, how to build aeroplanes. This is talking about more than 7,000 years ago. And Ravana also had a network of caves in his capital for secretly moving from one place to another, through going through different hills. After Hanuman found Sita in Ashoka Grove, it is said that Ravana shifted Sita from there to another place called Istripuram, place of the lady. That's what they call it now. Here we can see a labyrinth of caves running more than 20 kilometers. So Ravana used these caves to secretly go from place to place. And the engineering skills exhibited in building these tunnels show high level of engineering capabilities they had at that time. And what about Ravana, the king of Lanka? He was very strong, handsome, had vast knowledge of the Vedas. He was a literary scholar. He had many compositions, literary works to his credit. Was expert in warfare and use of various weapons, and a very good administrator also. His natural strength and power. He had the strength of 10 people, intelligence of 10 people. So we often depict him as with 10 heads and 20 hands. Not that he had 10 heads, but he was he had the intelligence of 10 people put together, and strength also. That immense strength and the boons he got from Brahma made him a terror to the world. Killing and defeating other kings, humiliating holy men, molesting women from all over the world. And when Hanuman went searching for Sita, he had to search in the palace. He found many Ravana's harem full of young women from different parts of the world, all brought by force. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. It said that when he composed the Shiva Tandava, it's a famous hymn, Shiva Tandava hymn, Shiva was so pleased that he danced. Such a great devotee of the Lord, but there's always a but. His excessive lust and arrogance caused his destruction. He did not pay any heed to the advice given by his advisors, ministers, well-wishers, and brothers. No. They all told him that disaster will come as a result of this act of kidnapping Sita. You better return her to Rama. You return her and he will forgive you. No, Ravana was not going to listen to that. He was dead against that. His lust kept him a slave to that. He was a slave to his lust. And Ravana is a classic example of the tragic fate of anyone who misuses talents and uses that power and talent against good, noble people. His younger brother Kumbhakarna, there are 3 brothers, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Vibhishana. Younger brother Kumbhakarna was huge. His body like a mountain, and he had an insatiable appetite. So it said that he used to just gobble up people and animals, which is a threat to the world. So when the 3 brothers were praying to doing austerities, trying to propitiate Lord Brahma, the gods got frightened. What will happen if he go on eating like this? So they devised, and took, with the help of Goddess Saraswati, they asked for, when he asked for the boon, he asked for the boon of sleeping. So it says that he sleeps for 6 months, wakes up for a day, eats his full, and then goes back to sleep. So that way, the world was saved from being swallowed up by Kumbhakarna. But he is a very gentle, simple-hearted person and always cared for justice. When Ravana brought Sita, he advised Ravana, this is not the right thing to do. This is going to be the disaster for the whole race, whole country. You should not do this. But Ravana was not going to listen to the advice given by Kumbhakarna, Vibhishana, even his Q and Mandodari gave the same advice. But when Kumbhakarna found that Ravana is very agitated, angry with his advice, Kumbhakarna told him gently that I gave this advice as a matter of duty. But you do what you want. Anyway, I'll go and fight. He knew that he'll be killed by Rama, but he was ready. He just, out of brotherly love, he was ready to sacrifice himself. And in the battlefield, he found Vibhishana. He met Vibhishana. He was very happy to meet Vibhishana, who had already come to the side of Rama. And he approved Vibhishana's decision and blessed him that he would save the Rakshasa race. Knowingly, Kumbhakarna sided with unrighteous side and sacrificed himself for brotherly love. Now, the youngest of three brothers, Vibhishana, was very sattvic by nature. When the three brothers propitiated Brahma, Vibhishana's, the boon that Vibhishana asked for was that his mind should be always fixed on dharma, righteousness. He didn't ask for anything else. So it's no wonder that when Ravana was not accepting his advice to return Sita, and he's holding on to these unrighteous ways, Vibhishana chose to leave him. Not Ravana was holding on to his unrighteous ways, he rebuked him with harsh words, humiliated him. So that was only no other choice for Vibhishana other than leave Ravana. And he came to Rama. He was sure that Rama will accept him. Deep down he knew. And Rama did accept him, saying that it is my vow to give refuge to anybody who come to me and saying that I am yours. And Rama goes on to say that even if Ravana comes saying that I surrender to you, I am yours, I will give refuge to him. So that shows the greatness of Rama. He says that is my vow. I cannot refuse anybody. And as soon as he came, the first thing when accepting Vibhishana, the first thing Rama did was informally crown him as the king of Sri Lanka. Rama was sure that he will be able to kill Ravana, and then Vibhishana will be the king, future king. So as a proof of his promise, he informally crowned him as the king. And because of his great virtue, Vibhishana has been elevated to the position of a god in Sri Lanka. In the Sri Lankan parliament, there's a portrait of the coronation of Vibhishana. They accept him, they keep him as a sort of deity. Now we come to the third kingdom, Ayodhya. We have already seen so much of Ayodhya, the present Ayodhya. I'm talking about the Ayodhya of 7,000 years ago. The description of Ayodhya shows an advanced civilization and culture. The city was full of palatial buildings, wide, clean roads, strong, well-designed forts, an army ready for any battle at any time. And the army always followed the rules of a righteous battle. In olden time, there was, in both Ramayana and Mahabharata, I can see the rules of battle. The battle starts after sunrise and stops at sunset. An enemy without any arms, you won't attack the person. A fleeing person, they don't attack. A person on a chariot won't fight with a person on the ground. All those rules were there. This army of Rama, the Ayodhya, they followed all those rules. People were peaceful, happy, and contented. That's why we have got this term, Ramarajya, Rama's kingdom. It was there like that, even when Rama's father, Dasharatha, was the king, and then when Rama became the king, it became all the more. Both the king and the people followed truth and dharma as the basis of all their action. Now look at the four brothers of Ramayana. Now we come to third set of brothers. We had the two sets in the first, Vali and Sugriva, then Ravana, Kumbhakarna and Vibhishana, and now come the third set with 4 brothers. Shatrughna, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Rama. Shatrughna, we don't hear much in the Ramayana. Only 2 instances I could find. First one is when Rama was exiled, Bharata and Shatrughna came back from their uncle's house, from the kingdom. They were away. And when they came to know that it was Mandhara who instigated Kaikeyi to do all this, Shatrughna was so angry, he was going to kill her, dragging her. Then Bharata, she was saved only because of Bharata. Bharata stopped him, saying that we should not do that because Rama will be angry. Not that, he said, if I was not afraid of Rama's anger, I would have killed Kaikeyi long ago. But Rama will be angry. We should do only what will please Rama. That all the 3 brothers had only one aim in life, to please Rama. Not that Rama is so much older than them. They were all born within a short time period. But they had high respect. From childhood, from early childhood, Shatrughna was very close to Bharata, just as Lakshmana was very close to Rama. And another incident we see about Shatrughna is much later, after Sita was banished by Rama second time, then she was going to have the babies. A group of sages came to Rama saying that they are being harassed by Lavanasura. And then Rama asked his brothers, who will go, Bharata or Shatrughna? Why don't you go, Bharata? Then Shatrughna came forward, and Bharata had suffered so much the last 14 years. He was living like a hermit, ruling the kingdom. So don't put him to too much trouble. Let me go. I'll go. But then once he said that, he repented, because that means going away from Rama. Rama said, all right, good. We will crown you as the king of Lavana's kingdom. Once you kill him, you rule out that. And he said, no, I should not have said that, but it's too late. They all had only one aim in life, to please Rama. So just accept, even though it was going away from Rama, there's no more arguing, just obey the command. Rama's wish or desire was their command. And Lakshmana is the personification of wholehearted and dedicated service to Rama. He lived for Rama. If you look at the Lakshmana's character, you often find him short-tempered, angry, suspicious, and not caring for even righteousness. Because you can see, when Dasharatha asked Rama to go to the forest, he was so angry. He said, I'll imprison the father. He's an old man, so much infatuated by his wife. I'll put him in prison, or rather I'll kill him. It seems that he didn't care for dharma, righteousness. His only aim was Rama be happy. Now, is injustice being done to Rama? No, he can't bear it. When Bharata came to the forest with the intention of taking Rama back to the Ayodhya as the king, but Lakshmana doesn't know. Lakshmana only seeing Bharata coming with a big army. He's suspicious. Okay, just he's not satisfied with getting the kingdom. Now he's coming to kill you. I'll kill him first. We see Lakshmana to be so short-tempered, but all this is just for the sake of Rama, for his love for Rama. And Rama himself says, you are my own self in another body. That's the greatest compliment you can see Rama giving to Lakshmana. And in following this life of service, going to the forest, Lakshmana got the best encouragement from his mother. Before going, Sumitra, his mother, gave the best advice a mother can give. She said, Ramam Dasaratham Vidhi Mam vidhi Janakatmeja. Ayodhyam Adavim vidhi Gacha Tata Yathasukham. Look upon Rama as Dasharatha, Sita as myself, the forest as Ayodhya, and be happy. Go happy. The mother is giving the advice of same-sightedness. And that shows the high level of, the spiritual level of Sumitra, her grasp of high ideals. Now look at Bharata. He was only just 11 hours younger than Rama. According to the archaeoastronomy, with the star configuration, we see that Bharata was born just 11 hours after Rama. But in his behavior, he behaves as though he's the least of the brothers. He evoked respect and admiration from all people that he came across him for his strength of character. The kingdom was handed over to him in a plate, but he refused. Everybody, not just Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi, of course, he disowned her as I don't look upon your mother as my mother anymore. But even sage Vasishtha said, it's your father's order that you should rule the kingdom. He refused to. That shows his strength of character. Because the tradition of Ikshaku race that the eldest will be the king. So there's no way I can be the king. The throne belongs to Sri Rama. The meeting of Rama and Bharata in the forest is very touching. Bharata tries his best to persuade Rama to come back and accept the throne. He uses various arguments. The assembly of sages who had collected the sages and the citizens who had come with Bharata, they were all charmed by this selflessness, love, and devotion to truth of both brothers. Whatever be the argument of Bharata, Rama countered them all, saying that we have to stick to the truth. We have to follow follow the words of a father. It is a duty of the son to fulfill the promise that given by the father. The father said that I will be in the forest for 14 years. You will rule the kingdom for 14 years. We will be the king. So it has to be done. There is no, Bharata offered that I'll be in the forest for 14 years. You can go back to kingdom. So no, there's no question of proxy there. We have to follow literally, in spirit and letter, follow the command of father. At last, Bharata was made to understand that selflessness in his case means following the means what will give happiness to Rama, not happiness to himself. All the time he was considering his misfortune. Because of my mother, I got this. Everybody was suspecting him. But there in the end, Vasishtha explained to him that he has to do what gives happiness to Rama. That is selflessness. So he accepted to rule the kingdom, not as the king, but as a representative of Rama. So he took Rama's sandals and kept that on the throne and ruled as Rama's representative, not from Ayodhya, but in a village outside Ayodhya called Nandigram, where he lived just like Rama was living in the forest, sleeping on the floor, eating only just forest food what was available to Rama. But we can say it is much harder than the life that Rama and Lakshmana was leading, because they were in the forest. Whereas here, Bharata had to rule the kingdom, yet live like a hermit. It's much harder. It was more austere. His life was more austere. Now, if you look at the three kingdoms, we see that the eldest brother loses the throne, the kingdom, and the younger one gets it. Look at all the three cases. And in the case of Ayodhya, Rama loses the throne not by any fault of his, but he surrenders the kingdom to the younger one. In the other two cases, Kishkindha and Lanka, that is Sugriva and Bali Sugriva and Ravana Vibhishana, there is struggle between the brothers. And the elder one loses his life before he loses the kingdom. Bali was killed before Sugriva became the king. Ravana was killed before Vibhishana became the king. And both the younger brothers really wanted the kingdom, the throne, and death of the elder brother. Sugriva, what was Sugriva's plan? He wanted, Rama took the promise that I will kill Vali and give the kingdom to you. The same with Vibhishana. Rama didn't say I'll kill Ravana, but anyway, he has gone there to kill Ravana only. I give the kingdom to Vibhishana. They really wanted the kingdom and the death of the elder brother. In Ayodhya, look at the case. Rama gives the kingdom to Bharata. Bharata wants Rama to take it back. And there is a competition of who is more selfless, who is extraordinary. He didn't want, both of them didn't want the kingdom. This is extremely extraordinary and rare in the world. That's why when Vibhishana came to Rama seeking protection, Rama asked his advisors, Jambavan, Sugriva, and all the others, the leaders. Sugriva, they all suspected him because he is Ravana's brother. How can we trust him? He may be a spy. So Sugriva cautioned, he has betrayed his brother and come here, so we should not trust him. Then Rama makes his comment, in this world, all brothers are not like Bharata. Like Bharata, brothers are very few. And that brings us to the hero, Rama. In Rama, Valmiki has portrayed an ideal human being, perfect in all the good qualities that can think of. Valmiki recognized that Rama is God incarnate and gives indirect and subtle references here and there. In the beginning, you can see how gods pray to Lord Vishnu to protect them, to protect the world from the atrocities of Ravana. And then Vishnu said, yes, I'll incarnate as the son of Dasaratha. And so that shows that Valmiki mentions it. So there is an inference, the point, reference that he is God incarnate. But mainly, Rama is projected as a human being. Just like human beings, he is happy, he is sad. When Sita was abducted, we see Rama weeping. Just like as to have gone mad, he is asking the trees and the plants and the creepers, have you seen Sita? Have you seen Sita? Just like an ordinary person. And then when when Sugriva was immersed in the pleasures after he became the king and forgetting his words to his promise to Rama to search for Sita, he gets very angry. So he is showing all the human emotions. Only if God remains as God. What's the point? What's the point? What's the use of taking a human form? Only if God, taking a human form, goes through trials and tribulations, we can get the trials and tribulations that we face in daily life, can we get some inspiration and strength to follow their example and face the situations and improve our lives. It is this ordinary behavior of these great ones that help us to connect with them. when Sri Ramakrishna was suffering from throat cancer, one of the devotees told him, "Sir, if even you suffer from disease, what wonder that we suffer?" But then they found that in spite of the great suffering, his mind was still always fixed on God consciousness. Often he spoke of the cancer on the throat as though belonging to somebody else. It was not his. And he was never given to sadness. And that the devotees are amazed to see that. That gives us a little bit of strength, how to face situations. Cheerfulness is sign of is spirituality. We see that in Rama. The prospect of being crowned as the heir apparent. The next morning, asking, go to the forest for 14 years. So the fortune going from one extreme to other extreme, but his countenance didn't change. His state of mind was not affected. He has taken both the same way, cheerfully, even-minded. His steadfastness to truth, righteousness, obedience to his father, dedication to duty, all that helped him to face all these calamities. So in Valmiki's Sri Rama, we see an ideal human being. In the first place, when Valmiki wanted, the whole Ramayana starts with that. Valmiki wanted to know, is there anybody and with all these qualities that we can aspire for? He giving a list of the qualities. And sage Narada, to whom he put this question, says, it is very difficult for people to be perfect in one of these qualities. And you are asking for a person with all these different qualities, 13, 14 qualities he's given in one person. Still, there is one person in whom you can see all these qualities, and that is Rama. I'll conclude with the words of Swami Vivekananda. In his lecture on Sages of India, Swamiji says, Rama, the ancient ideal of the heroic ages, the embodiment of truth, of morality, the ideal son, the ideal husband, the ideal father, and above all, the ideal king. Thus, Rama has been presented before us by the great sage Valmiki. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us for this celebration, either in person or via Zoom. We had the Bhagavad Gita discussion on Friday night, be led by Gayatriprana. Gayatriprana, by the way, will be going to Melbourne next weekend. Well, that is on Saturday and Sunday. There'll be some programs there. And so in her absence, next Sunday, the monthly Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna talk will be given by Sri Dharapanaji. And now invite you to stay back to have some offered sweets and savories.